My name is Michael Thompson. I'm 58 years old, and on the afternoon of March 21, 2024, I collapsed in my Chicago penthouse. I was worth $4.2 billion. I own tech startups across Silicon Valley, a private jet fleet, and condos I'd barely set foot in. I had everything money could buy, but I was about to learn what money had actually cost me. I grew up poor in Cleveland. My mom worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. I swore I'd never be poor again. By 25, I was coding apps. By 35, I owned a tech empire. By 50, I was acquiring startups like collectibles. Money became my lifeline. Without it, I felt like I was drowning. That Thursday started like any other. I was on a Zoom call yelling at investors about a merger that was bleeding millions. My chest started aching, but I brushed it off. I always ignored pain. Pain was for people who couldn't afford to push through it. Then my left arm went numb. The room started spinning. I tried to grab my phone, but everything went dark. Suddenly, I wasn't in my body anymore. I was floating above my glass coffee table, watching my assistant, Lisa, shake my lifeless body. She was sobbing, screaming into her phone for an ambulance, but I felt nothing. No pain, no fear, just this strange, weightless peace I'd never known in my entire life. Then I saw a light, not harsh like the LEDs in my office, but warm, inviting. It drew me forward, and I found myself in a place that didn't look like anything I'd ever seen. Rolling hills of the softest green grass, a sky that seemed to hum. And walking toward me was a man in plain clothes. He wasn't tall or short, he wasn't striking in the way wealth makes people striking. But his eyes held every star I'd ever seen and every dream I'd ever buried. When he looked at me, I felt like I was being seen for the first time in my life. "Michael," he said, and his voice was like coming home after the longest, hardest commute. I knew instantly who he was, even though I'd spent most of my adult life pretending he didn't exist. "Jesus," I whispered. Tears I didn't know I could still cry began streaming down my face. He smiled, and that smile cracked open something in my chest that had been sealed for decades. "I've been waiting for you," he said. "Waiting for me? But I haven't thought about you in years. I haven't prayed. I haven't been to church since I was a kid. I've done awful things for money. I've hurt people. He held up his hand, and I stopped talking. "I know," he said simply. "Come, let me show you something." We walked together, and with each step, I felt layers of hardness peeling away from my heart. The weight I'd carried for so long, the constant fear of losing everything, the paranoia, the sleepless night swaths lifting off me like fog. "Michael," Jesus said as we walked, "do you want to see what your money really did?" I nodded, though part of me was terrified. He stretched out his hand, and suddenly I was seeing my life from above, like a movie playing out in the sky. But I wasn't seeing the penthouse or the jets or the bank accounts. I was seeing something else entirely. I saw myself giving away most of my money, not for tax breaks or headlines, but quietly, privately paying off medical bills for families crushed by debt, buying groceries for single parents, funding scholarships for kids who reminded me of myself when I was young and desperate. I saw myself volunteering at food pantries, not just sending checks, but actually serving meals with my own hands. I saw myself crying with families who lost everything, not out of pity, but because I understood their pain. "This is what your life could be," Jesus said. "This is who you could become." "I want that," I said. And I meant it more than I'd ever meant anything in my life. I want to go back. I want to fix what I broke. I want to love people more than money. I want to be free. Jesus looked at me with such tenderness that I felt like a kid again. "Then go back, Michael. Love your family. Love your enemies. Give your money away and watch how rich you become. Serve others and discover what true power looks like." But what if I fail? What if I slip back into old habits? What if the money pulls me back? "Then call to me," he said simply. "I'll be there. I've always been there, waiting for you to remember you were never meant to carry this burden alone." He began to fade, but his voice stayed clear. "Michael, tell them that money is a tool, not a master. Tell them that the richest person is the one who has learned to love without counting the cost. Tell them that true treasure is stored in heaven, where no hacker can steal it and no bank can hold it." I felt myself being pulled back, and I didn't want to go. The peace in that place was unlike anything I'd ever felt, but I knew I had work to do. I had love to give. I had chains to break not just my own, but the chains around the hearts of others who were trapped the way I'd been trapped. I woke up in Northwestern Hospital with a tube down my throat and machines beeping around me. A doctor was leaning over me, shaking his head. "Mr. Thompson, you were clinically dead for 23 minutes. We don't understand how you're here, let alone how you're neurologically intact." But I knew exactly why I was there. The first thing I did when I got out of the hospital was call my son. He was stunned to hear from me. "Dad, are you okay? I heard you were in the hospital." "Brian," I said, my voice breaking, "I love you. I love you more than any deal, any dollar, any app I've ever built, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for choosing money over you. Will you have coffee with me tomorrow?" Just coffee. No phones, no business talk, just me and you. There was silence on the other end. Then I heard him crying. "I've been waiting my whole life for you to say that, Dad." I called Sarah next. She was wary at first, thinking I'd lecture her about her struggles with addiction. But when I told her I was proud of her for getting clean, when I told her I loved her, not for what she could achieve, but for who she was, she broke down and cried. Then I called Karen, the woman I'd married 32 years ago, the woman whose heart I'd slowly broken with my obsession with wealth. "Karen, I know you filed for divorce. I know I gave you every reason to, but I need you to know something. I died, and I met Jesus, and he showed me what I'd become. I want to be the man you fell in love with again. I want to put you first. I want to put our family first. I want to be free." She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Michael, you've said things like this before after failed gleaning deals or when you wanted something from me. How do I know this is different?" "Because I'm giving it all away," I said. "The money, the condos, the jets, almost all of it. I'm keeping enough for us to live simply and comfortably, but the rest it's going to people who need it more than we do." She gasped. "Michael, that's 4 billion. It's 4 billion chains," I said, "and I'm finally free." Over the next year, I did exactly what I'd promised. I sold everything. I gave away 95% of my wealth to families in need, to community centers, to programs that help people escape poverty. I kept enough to buy a modest house in a quiet Chicago suburb where kids ride bikes and neighbors wave hello, Ryan. And I grab coffee every Saturday now. We talk about books, music, and his dreams of becoming a history teacher. Sarah celebrated 1 year of sobriety last month, and I was there holding her hand as she got her chip. Karen and I are taking it slow, but she's moved back in. Last night, we sat on our front porch, no glass towers, no private pool, just a simple wooden porch. She told me I looked younger. "You look like the man I married," she said. "The one who dreamed of changing the world, not owning it." I volunteer at a food pantry 3 days a week now. I wear old jeans and serve meals to people who used to make me nervous on the street. But now I see them as Jesus sees them, as beloved people who've hit hard times. Some recognize me from the news, but most don't care. They just want someone to treat them with respect. And I'm learning what an honor that is. The strangest thing is, I've never felt richer. When I had billions, I was always afraid of losing it. Now that I've given it away, I feel like I have everything I need. My son hugs me when he sees me. My daughter calls me just to chat. My wife smiles at me again. I sleep peacefully at night because I'm not worried about stock prices or corporate raids. I know some people think I've lost my mind. I know some people think I've had a breakdown, but I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I met Jesus, and he showed me that money isn't evil, but the love of money will steal your soul $1 at a time. If you're watching this and you're trapped the way I was trapped, if you're choosing money over the people you love, if you're so busy building your financial empire that you've forgotten about God's kingdom, I want you to know something. It's not too late. You don't have to die and come back to change your life. You can start right now. Call someone you love. Tell them they matter more than your bank account. Give away some money, not for a tax write-off, but because it feels good to help people. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask the question I should have asked years ago. Am I loving people and using money? Or am I loving money and using people? Jesus told me that the treasure we store in heaven is the only treasure that lasts. Every act of love, every moment of kindness, every dollar we give away to help someone else, that's treasure that can never be stolen, never lost, never devalued. I used to think the richest man was the one who died with the most money. Now I No, the richest man is the one who dies with the most love. And love, real love, doesn't cost a thing. It just costs everything else. My name is Michael Thompson. I used to be a billionaire. Now, I'm just a man who learned that the most expensive thing you can buy with money is your own soul. And the best investment you can ever make is giving it away.